You're watching the NBA on ESPN. The Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets from the Pepsi Center. Denver leads 61-57 behind 18 points from Allen Iverson. Carmelo Anthony has 14. Corey Maggette with 20 at halftime. We'll be back with the second half after this. Welcome back to Denver, where the Nuggets, who put up 138 points against Seattle on Wednesday, at 61 as we get ready for the third quarter. Allen Iverson at 18 points, and their head coach, George Karl, wired for sound.
I'm not disappointed in the offense, but right now, remember, they're playing with no big guys. Basically, they're playing with 5, 6, 8 guys or smaller. And every time we've gone to the rim, we've gotten there pretty successfully.
Well, ask and you shall receive. 14 fast break points for the Nuggets. Out in transition, easy layup. Allen Iverson to the rim, no shot blocker there. And a beautiful pick and roll here. Melo to Martin. And again, Melo hits Camby with no Clipper in sight. Take the ball to the rim. 34 points in the paint for the Denver Nuggets.
Taking a look at our Jeep storyline. You had mentioned that maybe Iverson would score 40. You might have 4 guys, Thornton and Maggette, with 18 and 20 respectively. Anthony and Iverson, the number 1 scoring tandem in the NBA, combining for 32 first half points. And I guess you take the good with the bad with the Nuggets. Yeah, they got 61, but they give up 57, and both Thornton and Maggette having big first half.
Well, this is why this team scares me, and I don't think they can make an extended run in the playoffs. If they even get to the playoffs, they've got to play better defensively. This is a banged-up Clippers squad, and yet 57 points they put on the board. They're one of the worst offensive teams in the league. The LA Clippers, shorthanded, 57 points. They're right in this game. They shouldn't be.
Nuggets currently in 9th place in the West. This week, bring Rick Bucher in.
Coach Mike Dunleavy concurs with you, JB. Once they got the fast break issue settled in the first quarter, then it was the second quarter. They had young guys who just were falling down on the weak side defensively. He says, we can cure those two things. We could actually win this game. But he also is well aware that he's got no back line, and he's playing a lot of young players. So it would be a wishful thing if it could happen.
And Ricky gives up another, or his team does anyway, another easy basket there as Camby gets the dunk.
Well, they're running pick and roll on one side, Dave, and they're trapping them pick and roll. The problem is the guy that's supposed to come over and get the roll man is a guard. It's either Mobley or Brevin Knight, and they're not going to be able to stop a Camby or a Martin on the move towards the basket.
No basket. Carter picks up his second foul as you look at Elton Brand, who suffered an Achilles injury in August, and he could be back in the next few weeks on the floor playing. He's been working out, and he and Sean Livingston is also here. Had a knee injury last year, could return as well before season's end. And Elton Brand in a similar position as you look at Sean Livingston. At Corey Maggette is where both Maggette and Brand could opt out of their contracts after this year. And if they don't, and you bring Livingston back healthy, and you got Chris Kaman, who's maybe the most improved player in the NBA this year, I mean, you got a pretty good roster next year.
I totally agree, Dave. I mean, this team coming into this season really felt like they had a chance. And then you lose Brand, Livingston goes down. Very tough to win in this league when you lose your best player, Elton Brand.
And they're likely to get a very high draft pick as Allen Iverson scrubs it home.
And hoping that they get lucky with the ping pong balls. It's been very unlucky for the Clippers in the lottery.
Brevin Knight, who's got 10 assists, now has 4 points. There's been talk that Kansas State's Michael Beasley could be the number 1 overall draft pick, although there's also been talk that he might stay at Kansas State, although Carmelo Anthony was saying similar things his freshman year at Syracuse, then he won a national title and went to the NBA.
He's coming. He's got a chance to be the number 1 pick. That's just the move you have to make. I mean, what more can you do in college except risk injury or have an off year, and then you cost yourself some positioning in the draft. So I think Beasley's got to be considered for the number 1 pick, along with other freshmen. Kid Rose from Memphis and Gordon from Indiana. I don't know what Kevin Love's going to do out of UCLA, but quite a freshman class in the NCAA.
Maggette with a nice pass. Camby with the block. He leads the league in that category and has 3 tonight.
Defensive player of the year last year, and got to be in the running again this year, leading the league like you said. Terrific defensive player.
George Karl told us about a month ago that he was his most valuable player and really thought he should have made the All-Star team. And you certainly can make a case for it, but hard to pick three guys on a non-playoff team. Ninth right now in the West. Mobley misses, and Camby goes down and appears to be okay, though.
Well, I think we talked Chris Kaman. I thought he was All-Star worthy.
Foul was on Powell, his first, JB.
13 boards a game, 16 points. Third in the league in blocks. He certainly had a terrific season.
Kaman signed that big $50 million deal before last season. 16 points, 8 rebounds a year ago, and almost doubling those numbers this year. Camby had a lot of time to think about that one, and would have been wide to the left and short.
Should rethink the shot.
Hard to pass, though, when you're that wide open. And Camby does make those. He made a couple in the first half. Has 10 points, go along with 7 rebounds, 3 blocks, and a couple of assists. Denver needs to win this basketball game, considering the upcoming schedule. After tonight, they play 3 more games on ESPN. It's Houston Sunday, home against Phoenix next Wednesday, home against San Antonio next Friday. And the way the West is, if you get on a winning streak, you can at least get back in. As Houston, you get back in and maybe not make up a 10th round because you're still 7th, winning 14 in a row. But if you lose 5 in a row, as Getty almost scores, but is fouled anyway, then you could be out of the top 8 if you go on a losing streak.
It's a lot easier to fall back than it is to move forward. And here's that schedule. San Antonio twice, Phoenix, Utah. Huge games with Houston and Utah in particular. I think it's going to come down to Houston and Denver battling for that 8th spot. And then at Utah,
as we talk,
if this Denver team wins tonight, they're 1 game behind Utah in the loss column. They have 2 remaining with them. Denver does go on the road on an Eastern Conference swing later on. As we see, they have 13 road games out of their 24. 19 versus the West. 12 of them above 500. So going to be a tough schedule for the Nuggets. But those games are the easy ones to get up for. I mean, they know they're going to have to play when Phoenix comes to town and San Antonio's here. It's these games right now, the Clippers, you play the Grizzlies and teams like that you have to be mentally ready to play. And I don't know that this Nuggets team is ready to play here tonight. They got themselves this ball game.
Denver's missed 8 in a row. Anthony committed a foul on the other end is first. And the second team foul on Denver as Powell scores to make it a 3-point game. The Clippers this decade have really given Denver a lot of trouble. Denver's not won both home games against the Clippers in 7 years. And remember, 2 years ago, they lost to the Clippers in the playoffs. The Clippers' first postseason victory as Camby gets the block on Mobley, his 4th. Now here's Carter from Iverson.
So many times you see that a missed layup on one end, cost you a layup on the other. That time Mobley and Maggette had a 2-on-1. Thought Mobley should have dumped it off to Maggette for the finish. But he chose to keep it and get it sent back right at him.
Almost a steal by Carter. Brevin Knight inside the 3-point line now. Carter again looking to push the tempo. Iverson with the ball, 20 points for him. And contact as he tries to get into the lane. And shooting foul as Maggette gets called for his second personal, second Clipper team foul in the half.
This crowd just kind of waiting for the Nuggets to take off and make a huge run and put this Clipper team away. But when you don't defend, it's very difficult to do that. We talked about L.A. This is one of the worst offensive teams in the league. I mean, their rankings, 28th in points.
29th in shooting.
29th in shooting. They do shoot great free throws. 29th in three-point field goal percentage. They don't rebound the ball well. They're assists in the middle of the pack. They turn the ball over. I mean, there's just no excuse to let the team hang around when you're in a race for the 8th seed in the West.
Anthony gets called for the foul, his second. And we were talking about this earlier today. Let's say that you're the 8th seed in the West. The Lakers certainly, as you look at the Clippers' numbers on the year, right now have the inside track with the #1 overall seed in the West. But what if a team like New Orleans not only makes the playoffs, but it's the number 1 seed. And that's a lot of pressure you have to put on them. And we saw what happened in the West with the number 1 seed last year, with Dallas losing to Golden State in the first round of the playoffs a year ago in the 1-8 matchup.
Well, that certainly would put a lot of pressure on the New Orleans Hornets to be the number 1 seed. And I think if you're Denver and you slide into that 8 spot and see New Orleans, you got to feel pretty good. You certainly don't want to take a San Antonio team on winning a title last year, obviously. But such great playoff success over the years as Thomas lays one in again.
Kenyon Martin kind of fell asleep and let Brevin Norton right in behind him and get the steal. 9 points now for Thomas. Iverson fouled again. That's on Tim Thomas. That's 3 on him. If the playoffs started today, Denver would not be in. Golden State for the 2nd straight year would be the 8th seed. I don't think the Lakers want to see them.
Look at these matchups, Dave. DP. I mean, you can't go wrong in the West, and this is going to change probably in a couple hours. Every matchup in the first round in the West is just going to be a complete battle. I just don't see that we're going to have any 4 or 5 game series. I think there's going to be a minimum of 6 game series in every first round.
Well, we asked George Karl today about it. This is his 20th year in the NBA as a head coach. He's 11th all-time in the league in wins, and he's won a tie Jack Ramsey 10th all-time. He said he's never seen it like this, where one conference has had this many teams near the top. You got 6.5 games that separate first from ninth in the West. And, of course, the Rockets, even though they won 14 in a row, will be without Yao the rest of the way. Anthony comes up with a block. Maggette hustling back on defense. And Maggette called for the foul. No basket. Called for tripping up Carmelo Anthony, the 3rd personal on Maggette. And the 14th foul. You know, one team we haven't really talked about tonight, we're kind of leaving out, Portland Trailblazers, who are in 10th, and they're beating the Lakers right now in Portland as you see the foul on Maggette.
They're too far back, DP.
You think so?
I'm not talking about them.
You don't think they have a shot?
They're done. No, they're not going to get it done. Great early season run for them, but I don't see them getting it done.
Anthony gets the first one to go. He is an 81% foul shooter. Clippers will be in action on NBA TV tomorrow. They return home to play Detroit. And then on Sunday, great doubleheader with the Cavs and Bulls, who are involved with a big trade. Ben Wallace and company going to Cleveland from Chicago. That's at 1 Eastern. Followed by the Lakers and the Mavericks. Then TNT Thursday. Cleveland, Chicago meet again. And Dallas and Houston go at it in the nightcap. Technical foul on Tim Thomas. Free throw was good, and now Anthony will shoot one more. Should be fun to watch Jason Kidd and the Mavericks in the 2nd game of our ABC doubleheader going to Los Angeles and play the Lakers.
Wouldn't it have been interesting if Mitch Kupchak, Lakers GM, had decided to pull the trigger on that Bynum for Kidd deal? You think they're happy that he can make that move?
Here's a 3-on-1 for the Nuggets. Carmelo Anthony with the basket. And Denver is back up 11 points midway through the 3rd.
Now let's see if they can sustain this. Don't let this Clipper team back in the game. Play some D. You know you're going to score some points. Get some stops on this end and put this team away.
Foul on Kenyon Martin. And that's his 3rd. By the way, no timetable has been set for Bynum's return. You were talking about Bynum and the Los Angeles Lakers. Bynum having a great year. Lakers number 1 in the West. Denver 9th, but an 11-point lead right now in the Clips.
ESPN's presentation of NBA Friday, brought to you by Kia Motors. To learn more, visit kia.com. Taco Bell, think outside the box. And Jockey. Visit us online at jockey.com.